adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Can I go to the sleepover?
If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woo-hoo.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
The Ticket Water Cooler with Jake Bockelvin and Nathan Brennan.
Let's take it a step further. If Nebraska wins the division, that means they go to the Big Ten Championship. They win the Big Ten Championship, that means they go to the playoff. They go to the playoff, now we're cooking with gas. I don't agree with you. I don't know what to tell you. That's ridiculous.
Weekdays from 3 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is the Sunday Rewind on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's Tom and Mike, Tom Stevens, Mike Melby, Sunday Husker Rewind. We do it every Sunday at 6, and I think we're going to go 2 hours once the football season starts. I'm ready for the football season to start, more than ever.
I really am too. As anticipated as each season is, and maybe it's just because it's not here yet. Every season you just have that anticipation for the season, but it's really whether it's a soap opera this year or whether it's just this fantastic thriller of a movie or something that you're watching.
For me, it's the movie thing because I don't know what I'm going to see.
That's what we hope it is.
Well, I don't know that it's a good movie. I have no idea that the movie will end well for Nebraska because 3-9, that was the same movie. It was over and over and over, and it was always a horror movie, and it was always terrible in the end as far as the results were concerned for Nebraska. It's more of a movie in that I don't know the actors. I don't know any of these are, I mean, I know what they've done before. It's like, oh, Jack Nicholson's in my movie, but what's he going to do in this movie? What's Mark Whipple, who would be the Jack Nicholson, the superstar OC that you bring in? That's your lead actor. And then you've got Mickey Joseph. He's already won a national title. He's the guy that's coming home to Nebraska. He's a local hero. That's interesting. I think that story is really good. And then you've got Donovan Raiola, who's never even coached the offensive line full time. He's been, an assistant coach. Great. How can you do when it's, you're at the helm of that? Bill Bush, we kind of know what that is because we saw him under Bill Callahan, but what's he like in part 2 at Nebraska? And by the way, he's a great recruiter from LSU. So it's more the actors in the movie for me.
Well, and one of the other actors, by the way, his dad was a villain in a prior movie where your starting quarterback is going to be more than likely Casey Thompson. I'm going to say more than likely, but I read the quote. Chubba Purdy made the comment that he hopes it's a fair competition, which kind of made me raise an eyebrow. I truly think it will be, at least I hope it will be as well. And I think it is going to be a lot more of a competition maybe than other people.
This is a good segue for Ask Mr. Whipple, our very first episode, Ask Mr. Whipple.
Mr. Whipple, please don't squeeze the Sherman.
Unless you're our age, you're probably 60. You don't know who Mr. Whipple was, because when I played that bit for Bach back in the day, when Mark Whipple was hired, he was going, "Who's Mr. Whipple? What are you talking about?" I have no idea. Ask Mr. Whipple, please don't squeeze the Charmin. But women would, or men would come into the store and they would squeeze the toilet paper. Whereas naturally, we all do. The first thing you walk into any store, you're squeezing toilet paper. That's what you do.
That's right where I go.
And then Mr. Whipple would have to remind them not to squeeze the Charmin. And then you get the head coach, Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple. And so it was a nice segue. That's all.
It was. And when you played the entire commercial back earlier before the show, I cracked up, and it made me realize that commercial could not air today.
It probably couldn't. and just because you didn't know what it meant, then now
especially
it means
the radio version of that commercial.
That's
so
right.
anyway.
Well, yeah, you couldn't.
Mr. Whipple, please.
Yeah,
don't
just end it
squeeze
there.
The Sherman.
Please. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. What is the Sherman?
The whole point of Ask Mr. Whipple is I give you a Mark Whipple quote, and you tell me which quarterback he is talking about. He's the Saban is really the quarterback coach as well. The first one here, he really has grown. He's got 5 practices at the end, and really has made a tremendous jump in his understanding of the offense, understanding defenses. I think this offseason has been really beneficial for him. Who is Mark Whipple talking about of the quarterbacks?
I'm going to throw out an educated guess based on he got the last 5 practices in, even though I don't believe he was a full participant in 3 of them. I'm going to say that's Chubba Purdy.
Ding, 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 ding. Very nicely done. This guy, number 2, he understands the run game formations and those things. So he really only had to learn half the offense, the throw game. I think he's taken steps, leaps, and bounds. I'm excited because he's got experience. He knows what it's like to be a starter, and that's always a good thing.
You had me at hello, or he knows the run game. Logan Smothers.
Ding, 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 ding. 2 for 2. Let's see. This one might be a little more difficult. He's got probably the strongest arm. He can be a little late with the throw and still fit it in there, which some other guys can't. He's full go now after a torn ACL last fall.
See, I was going to say Henrik Harburg, but is that Chubba Purdy again?
No, your first fit. He's talking about Richard Torres, who hasn't even suited up.
I actually forgot Richard Torres was here.
I'm not
brilliant, Mike.
He's got the big arm, and apparently, according to Mark Whipple, he really likes that big arm. Another guy that might have a good arm. Let's see who can. See if you could guess who he is. He started off well, then kind of split his finger on his hand, and that really set him back. I really seen him take a big step this offseason. Now he's healthy. A big, strong guy that can make all the throws.
Is that Harburg?
That is Harburg. Ding, ding, ding. And there's only one left, so this will be easy. He knows more than other guys because of experience, and he sees it. He's had to learn the offense and the run game stuff. Now we're focusing more on what the defenses are doing.
I actually think this young man is going to be one hell of a football coach. What level he gets to, I don't know. But
will he be a good quarterback?
Matt Masker.
No,
it's not Matt Masker.
It's Casey Thompson.
Oh, I thought you were talking Masker.
No, he was talking.
I thought we'd already talked Thompson. So
we hadn't talked Thompson. He knows more than the other guys as far as experience. So I could see Masker.
Yeah.
I could see you saying Matt Masker.
I think Masker is going to be a great coach. And
I
who
do
knows?
too. Yeah.
His knowledge of the game. I did see a quote from Coach Whipple regarding Masker and his understanding of the game. And I know Matt Masker's, he's like, hey, I know nobody thinks I have a chance, but I do, and I'm going to try. So,
so there you go. That was fun. Ask Mr. Whipple, our first edition of Ask Mr. Whipple. I'm sure one of many on this particular show. I did want to talk about Big Ten Media Days because it happens Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe, of this week.
I believe so. Yep.
Tuesday and Wednesdays of this week, and the ticket will be there. So all the gang that you hear daily on the station, whether it's early break and old school, the captain happy hour, you got on the block. I think everybody's pretty much going to be represented from every show. So tune in. They'll have all the coverage, and some of those characters, I can't wait for the questions to be asked. But Nebraska is going to be represented by Garrett Nelson, linebacker. He's been here for a while. He might be the best pass rusher well, O'Shawn Mathis is here now, but before Mathis stepped foot on campus, then you've got Quentin Newsome, cornerback, and Travis Vokalek, tight end, all going to make the rounds this Tuesday for Nebraska at Big Ten Media Days. And my question to you, Mike, does that mean those guys are captains?
There may be another one that gets thrown in because it's going to be a team vote like it always is my understanding. And I could see a very valid reason for all three of them to be captains. As we all know, it's not just what you do on the field, it's what you do off the field and how you lead, and not only, in the locker room or in the weight room, but off campus and with what you do in the community. And I think all three of them represent themselves and the university and the football program to the highest degree. And I think they all deserve to be a captain if their teammates vote them that way.
Let me ask you this, because it was a long time. JoJo Doman was a second team all-league selection this past year. First team All-American, which is crazy. Yeah. Second team all-league. Yeah. And I mean, that's crazy. But who replaces that for Nebraska this year? I mean, is it Garrett Nelson? I don't think it's Garrett. No. I mean, it's
I think it's going to be Isaac Gifford, or I think Isaac Gifford is going to be the one that gets the first crack at it.
Yeah. But as far as that playmaker, more, because I saw JoJo I saw Luke Reimer as that. I wonder if it's Garrett Nelson outside of O'Shawn Mathis.
Well, now, if you're talking, are you talking to fill the nickel role?
Yeah, I'm not talking about, because he's not a nickel. He's more of a.
Well, that's my point. I mean, if you're just talking to be the guy that could possibly be a first-team All-American, I think you've got a couple of. I think your two edge rushers that I believe are going to start. O'Shawn Mathis and Garrett Nelson are the two that you really got to look at to be the guy that, maybe thinking about postseason awards, but. Who knows? I mean, we've got a lot of other talented guys that came in that are transfers that could, and I'm the enigma that is Tyreek Johnson, the 5-star that transferred here from Ohio State. When does it click with him with the offense and all? I mean, there's so many other guys, and then flip side is with the DBs. I think Tommy Hill could. I get it, he's a freshman, but the kid has got unreal talent. And who's going to start at the other? Drawing a blank.
Quentin Newsome will start.
Yes,
Newsome will start at one side, and then Tommy Hill, I think, at the other side.
Does Newsome become the shutdown corner that CTB was last year? Yeah. Does he get a handful of picks? Do they simply stop throwing to his side? Does he become a first team All Big Ten or All American? I don't know. There's potential for several of them, but specifically on the linebacker spot, I think Isaac Gifford is the guy.
Yeah, it surprises me. We had the linebacker, the conversation really about captains. Are all these guys captains? I think Garrett Nelson is captain. I don't know about Vokalek, and I don't know about Quentin Newsome, either one of those guys. Newsome seems relatively early still in his career to be named a captain. Not that really matters. It would surprise me if you told me, like, say, a month ago before I read that there was this list that these are the guys going to Big Ten. I wouldn't have picked Quentin Newsome as a guy that I thought was going to Big Ten Media Days. I didn't know that about him. He went from having to replace Cam Taylor-Britt. I mean, he's going to have to replace that. I mean, last year they picked on him. He was picked on quite a bit, and Cam Taylor-Britt was the guy on the island that everybody could trust. I just didn't see him being a Big Ten media representative this early in his career.
Well, and I think Travis Vokalek, that doesn't surprise me.
He's been here. He's a transfer. He's had the experience
3 years in, but
but the transfer from Rutgers and then he sat out and then he played.
Well, the injuries didn't help him last year.
No,
I mean, same point.
He's been a name we've talked about for a while, and I guess because Austin Allen is gone, maybe you talk about Vokalek. But he's a name I would be surprised if you would have told me a month ago. I would be surprised he's one of your representatives, or he could possibly be a captain. The only one I really truly thought would happen is Garrett Nelson would be a captain, and Garrett Nelson would go represent a Big Ten media.
Then my question is, I don't have a problem with it either one. I didn't really think about who was going to go, so I guess if you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said Garrett Nelson and a couple other guys.
Right.
Who else would you like to have seen go, or did you expect to go?
Well, you probably can't send Casey Thompson. It's too early, right? Then you've anointed him as starter. If you send him,
I think that would have been a mistake.
If you send him, that means, I guess he's starting. And if he's not, that's really awkward.
Yeah.
I would have, said somebody along the offensive line, Norden Nwili, but then Norden had the thing
Trent
happen.
Dixon.
Somebody on the offensive line. Usually, almost every team in the league sends an offensive or defensive lineman, usually an offensive lineman because they're the best interviewee. And they're just really smart, intelligent. You always send your offensive. I guarantee you this Tuesday, we'll see at least 7 offensive linemen. Almost every team will bring an offensive lineman.
Oh, guaranteed.
So
Wisconsin may bring 2.
They might bring 2. I mean, it's surprising, actually, that if Cam Jurgens would have been here this year, I think he's a guy that would have gone. But, you lose Norden and you lose Cam, and maybe there isn't an offensive lineman that they could send at this point. We've still got a whole segment left. I do want to talk about Richie Incognito. He was he was headed towards stardom, I think, at Nebraska before it all kind of went south. And then he did have a lot of success in the NFL. He's retired. We'll talk about that. Some things that Deion Sanders has said about USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten, and things that John Cook has said about that as well. I want to get to, plus some basketball talk a little bit to end the show.
Absolutely.
I
like your lineup.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. He's Mike Melby, former voice of the Lincoln Stars. I'm Tom Stevens. Together, it's the Sunday Husker Rewind.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934, and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it twice a day.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it in the morning and before dinner.
I get it, slip it, cuff it, check it, and share it with my doctor. Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure numbers, I talked with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Learn more at manageyourbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit NationalGuard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Back to the Sunday Rewind with Tom and Mike.
That's old school.
Yeah?
No school like the old school.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Happy Sunday afternoon. Alongside Lincoln radio legend Tom Stevens, I am Mike Melby. This is the Husker Rewind. And Tom, Last week, a gentleman by the name of Richie Incognito said, I am retiring from the NFL. Injuries have just gotten me to the point where I can't do it anymore. He kind of fulfilled what he should have done here and then had some stuff go sideways. And he had a very roller coaster-ish NFL career. I believe he was a 3-time, maybe 4-time Pro Bowler. And then he also had the accusations of bullying and but bottom line, the man was a menace when he had the helmet on and he was playing offensive line. He just dominated people at times. How will you remember him?
As crazy and a really good football player. But, most really great football players have a little crazy in them. I think Ndamukong Suh has a little bit of nuts. I mean, he's the most intelligent guy you'll ever meet, but he's also a little bit crazy. Richie, I think, was a very smart guy. It usually takes a fairly bright guy to play offensive line, and to play as long as he did until he was 39. That he was tough, but he was also really smart, and he was also crazy.
It's a nice combination.
He had that incident where he threw a bowling ball at somebody in a bowling alley. I think it was actually in a bowling, but he didn't throw it down the lane.
Who hasn't? I mean, come on.
He barbells and gyms, like he's absolutely crazy, and great at the same time. Because first, Bill Callahan kicked him off the team back in there. So I think he was kicked off the team as a junior.
Yeah,
still made an NFL roster. The final.
It's funny that he then retires with the Raiders.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, he belongs with the Raiders. Yep, that's where he should be.
You know who I would have loved to have seen play for the Raiders was Deion Sanders. Just saying. I think he would have been interesting as a Raider.
He would play for the Cowboys, the Falcons, the 49ers.
I can't remember who else.
Man, why wasn't he a Raider? He would have been perfect. He would have been perfect for the Raiders.
So Deion this last week, Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders, commenting about UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten. He said, you call it realignment, call it what it really is, chasing the bag. Everybody's trying to line themselves up properly so their program can prosper, and I don't have a problem with that. You know what, Deion? Neither do I.
Well, I mean, his conference is going to suffer in the long run. I can't see Jackson State being even as much of a thing as it is now. Maybe it will be. Maybe Deion will save that thing and they'll go crazy and, they join the top 60 teams in college football and that's where it lands. I mean, if anybody can fight through this, they did sign a 5-star. So he
number one recruit in the nation.
He can do that. But when he says, you know what, it's all about the bag, chasing the bag. And he says, I don't have a problem with that because you're just trying to make your program prosper. It's cheating, but everybody knows that it's cheating. And so what can you do about it? So you just embrace it.
Well, it's not cheating because it's legal now.
It's legal cheating.
But yeah, I mean, I have zero problem with every program in the country trying to chase the giant money bags to drop it in front of the players via their collectives, et cetera, and local sponsors. But free for all. Let's go. And I also cannot wait for the break from the NCAA. What we mentioned earlier.
The NCAA doesn't exist. I know that they're, throwing around, Bill Self's name and saying he's really in trouble. And there are a few programs that might be in a little hot water. But I just think that the networks run college football. Fox and ESPN really run college football. And whatever the NCAA does at this point, I just don't think that we're going to notice that much.
No, I can't wait for the break. Let's just get it over with. I mean, the NCAA, 5 years later, the massive, biggest cheating scandal and bribery scandal in the history of college basketball, and 5 years later, we still have no resolution from the NCAA. I mean, it's literally,
it's like the Watergate.
The organization is a joke.
So whatever Deion says is what Deion says. I don't pay a ton of attention. No, I pay more because it is Deion, but I pay more attention, say, to what John Cook says about UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten. And he said it's epic for the Big Ten. He says it's going to make the conference into a super league. He says when the new teams join, USC, UCLA, that will mean 11 of the NCAA championships since 2006 have been won by teams playing in the Big Ten. It is impressive. Penn State obviously has championships, Nebraska, Wisconsin, and UCLA. USC has titles, but not within the last 2 decades. But do you think it's going to make having USC and UCLA in Nebraska's volleyball league makes that big of a difference to call it a super league?
It already is. You don't need either one of those programs for this to be a super league. I'm sorry. I get what John is saying. He's kind of tipping his cap to the history and what those two schools have accomplished over their massive long-running careers. But at the end of the day, it was already a super conference. Minnesota, Penn State, Wisco, Nebraska, Illinois. Who am I missing here that's like a top 20 team almost
well, sometimes it changes. Michigan State's been very good.
True.
Michigan's been pretty good periodically. I mean, they all spend time, it seems like. If you are in the Big Ten and you're not named Rutgers or Iowa in volleyball, you're in the top 25 at some point.
Essentially. So, adding great. And like I said, I totally respect John Cook for the comment. And it's well-deserved. I mean, those two programs are storied. They've been around forever. They have won national championships. It's been a while for USC, but hey, you know what? Last time I checked, it's been a while since Nebraska won a national championship in football too. So,
programming note to Mike Melby sitting across from me for 3 feet. We will leave the airwaves in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
So, again,
radio on the fly, folks.
That's right. That's what radio on the fly is. So 2 minutes. Do you have anybody, a nominee for Get Off My Lawn this week?
Ever. Coach?
Get off my lawn.
Who do you got?
Pat Narduzzi, get off my lawn. Shut the hell up. Dude, I don't know what your problem is. What I can tell you is as a father, if I would have a child that was good enough to play for your program and you were recruiting them based on your comments about how you guys are all big and bad and could come in and win the Big Ten every year, when you have to look at the facts and all of that stuff, and then you're throwing your old OCs under the bus every chance you get off my lawn, shut the hell up. Dude, you are an idiot. I would never let my kid play for him.
Program note to my partner, Mike Melby, sitting across from me. 1 minute until we leave the airwaves. Do want to mention that Bryce McGowan's had a really good summer league in the NBA. So did Delano Banton. Both those guys right around 14 points a game. Are you surprised? Better NBA player. We've had this discussion before. Bryce or Delano Banton?
Oh, I think it's probably going to be Bryce, but the biggest problem with both of them is the turnovers. Almost 3 a game and almost 5 a game. 3 a game for Bryce and almost 5 a game for Delano Banton. You got to take care of the basketball if you're going to stick around in the NBA for very long.
James Palmer's still playing in these summer leagues. He he averaged 8.8 points a game. Delano, 16 points, 5 rebounds a game. He had a lot of turnovers. And we mentioned Bryce, 14 points a game, shooting 42 from 3, but not so good from the field for some reason.
And he was only like 82% from the line, which is really highly unusual for him. So
well, it's fun to
5 games.
see. It's fun to see the Huskers do something. We are leaving. We'll be back next Sunday with the Huskers Sunday Rewind. Bye-bye.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.